Hi, Gene here with today's thought. Still in New York, still in my little hotel room. With it looks like the lighting is going in and out. The camera is trying to adjust. Anyways, I'll try to make it a quick thought today. It's something I should have seen this coming, but I thought that this terrible president of ours would managed to be honest and straightforward and show some leadership for just a few minutes. And apparently, I've been disappointed. I reported yesterday, I think it was, that Biden, he was saying he refuses to negotiate the debt ceiling spending cuts in exchange for raising the debt ceiling. Then he's scheduled a meeting May 9th in the White House with with the Speaker of the House, majority, and the minority leader in the House, and the majority leader and minority leader in the Senate. So that would be respectively Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, and who did I say first? Well, Chuck Schumer, the majority leader in the Senate, and Mitch McConnell, the minority leader. So it was supposed to be, the impression that I got, it was to negotiate finally on the debt ceiling. But according to the press secretary, she said that he's not going to negotiate on the debt ceiling. He's just calling them over just to tell them what he's already been saying, that he won't. He's going to waste all these people's time to come to the White House so he can tell them that he's not going to negotiate on the debt ceiling, and maybe he'll talk about spending cuts sometime in the future, but. No, he's not going to negotiate on the debt ceiling. So if I were Kevin McCarthy in the House, this is what I say. Well, don't waste my time. One alternative would be just not to come. Say, well, if he's not going to negotiate on the debt ceiling and spending cuts in exchange for raising the debt ceiling, yeah, you're wasting my time. There's no reason for me to go. So you let me know one way or the other. Are you going to negotiate or not? And if you're not, then have a nice day. I'm not going to show up. Or he should say, maybe at the meeting, he should say, well, okay, we can talk about spending cuts, but before I'll give you a clean debt ceiling, uh, totally unconnected to any spending cuts, but we have to pass the spending cuts first. Once the spending cuts are negotiated, passed into law, signed by the president, then and only then would the House agree to raise the debt ceiling. So you see, in other words, McCarthy gets the Republicans get the spending cuts, and the debt ceiling gets raised, and instead of, it's the same practical effect. It would be the same practical effect, except not putting them all into one bill. But the spending cuts have to come first, especially after, well, Joe Manchin is saying that, remember this Inflation Reduction Act or whatever, that the second bill that was supposed to include promoting energy drilling for oil and coal in his home state of West Virginia. So he got screwed on that. So, and that was because, and he agreed. He took that as a promise, and then he voted for the Democrats' bill. And at the time, I said, I don't understand why you're doing that, Joe Manchin. You should demand that what you wanted gets enacted into law first. So you definitely, that's in the law, and then you can do the other part as a separate bill later. But he did it the other way around, voted for the bill, and then waited for the promise to be fulfilled. And of course it wasn't. So the second time that Joe Biden is screwing the American people and our elected representatives. So we'll see what happens. The last thing I would say, McCarthy should say either in the meeting, but I think he should, as I said, not go to the meeting. Say, if you're not going to negotiate, why waste my time? And anytime you want to negotiate, let me know, but make sure that you say publicly that it's to negotiate. And then just remind him the 14th Amendment, that debt has to be paid. As I've said this in the past, that if the debt ceiling doesn't get raised, then we don't have the money to pay all our bills, but that we have enough money to pay the debt ceiling. We just have to cut spending somewhere else, and you should make it very clear. In fact, there were a couple Democratic commentators, such as Howard Meyerson, saying that that the Democrats should invoke the 14th Amendment and use that to pressure the Republicans, but that's a total misreading of the 14th Amendment, because it's not a matter of having to, it's not a matter of what the House has to do. They already voted to raise the debt ceiling. They're not responsible. It's the president who would have to cut, if he either sign the bill or the spending has to be cut, or the Treasury is going to have to do that. But everybody knows what a disaster it would be not to pay our debt. So you can be sure that you'll a lot of kicking and screaming, but at the end of the day, the debt will be paid, agreement or no agreement. So if you're in a foreign country watching this, be assured that debt will be paid. Your investments in our bonds and our obligations, they are secure. And if it doesn't get the spending doesn't get cut, it's going to be because the president doesn't. I mean, if the debt doesn't get paid, it's going to be and only because and only because Joe Biden doesn't want to pay it. We'll see if he is that stubborn and that obstinate and that stupid and that senile that he will default on the debt rather than cut spending or negotiate with the Republicans. They still have the upper hand in this, and all the House has to say, well, we did our part. We passed our bill. We raised the debt ceiling. That's what you want, raise the debt ceiling. We did it. We're done. It's in your court, the Democratic controlled Senate and the Democrat in the White House. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Follow along, or you can follow me. I'll keep you up to date on this. And that's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would be great. But anyway, I would love to see all of you again. Look forward to it. Until I see you all again, bye.